The silver ship glided silently through the darkness of space. Inside, Galactic Council Inspector Sunwoo tapped his fingers on the control panel. His mission was simple: survey Sector 8K for any unauthorized technology developments. After 20 years as an inspector, these routine checks had become boring. "Approaching the Sol system," said the ship's computer. "Third planet shows signs of civilization development. Level 4. Sunwoo barely looked up. Level 4 civilizations were common, just beginning to explore their own solar systems. Nothing to worry about. The Council's rules were clear. No contact, until they reached Level 5 and discovered faster-than-light travel on their own. "Run standard scans and let's move on," he said. His partner Ji-won floated into the command center. She was younger, only 5 years into her inspection career. Unlike Sunwoo, she still found excitement in every mission. "I brought you some food," she said, handing him a container. "You should eat something." Sunwoo thanked her and was about to take a bite when the alarm sounded. Alert. Quantum energy signature detected. Origin. Third planet of Sol system. Both. Inspectors froze. Quantum energy signatures meant only one thing: quantum displacement technology. The most forbidden technology in Council space. "That's impossible," Ji-won said, pushing toward the scanner. "Level 4 civilizations can't develop quantum tech. They shouldn't even understand the basic principles." Sunwoo felt a chill run through his body. In all his years, he had never encountered an actual violation of the Quantum Prohibition Act. Most species took thousands of years to discover those principles, and by then, they were already part of the Council and knew the rules. "Computer, verify, scan, and run detailed analysis," he ordered. The computer hummed for several minutes while the inspectors waited in tense silence. Verification complete. Multiple quantum displacement signatures detected. Evidence suggests early stage quantum drive technology in active use. Ji-won looked at Sunwoo with wide eyes. "We need to report this immediately." Sunwoo shook his head. "Not yet. If we're wrong, we could cause an interstellar incident. We need visual confirmation first." He turned to the navigation system. "Set course for Earth orbit, stealth mode." 3 hours later, their ship hung in the darkness above Earth, cloaked from human detection systems. What they saw shocked them both. "Look at that," Ji-won whispered, pointing at a vessel leaving Earth's atmosphere. The human ship was crude by Council standards, a mix of metal panels and visible engine components, but there was no mistaking the soft blue glow surrounding its drive section. Quantum displacement energy. "How did they develop this?" Sunwoo asked, more to himself than to Ji-won. Their historical records show they only achieved spaceflight less than 200 years ago. Ji-won's fingers flew across the scanner interface. "The quantum signature is different from our standard drives. They've developed it independently, using a completely different approach." Sunwoo felt a mixture of professional concern and personal curiosity. "We need more information. Computer, identify their communication patterns and access their information networks." The computer worked quietly for almost an hour before reporting success. Information began flowing across their screens. Scientific papers, news reports, technical diagrams. "According to these records," Ji-won said as she read through the data, "their quantum drive was developed by someone named Do-yeon Kim. She's a physicist who made a breakthrough 5 years ago." Sunwoo studied the human scientist's profile. Dr. Do-yeon Kim looked ordinary enough, middle-aged with short black hair and glasses. Nothing about her suggested she would be the one to stumble upon technology that the Council had banned for 3,000 years. She didn't just develop quantum displacement drives, Ji-won continued, her voice growing more concerned. "Look at these other projects: quantum shielding, partial phase technology, matter energy conversion systems." Sunwoo felt his heart's beating faster. This was worse than he thought. The humans hadn't just violated one prohibition, they had independently developed an entire suite of quantum technologies that the Council had deemed too dangerous for any civilization to possess. "We need to make contact," he decided. "This goes beyond observation protocol." Ji-won looked shocked. "Make contact? With a level 4 civilization? That violates at least 6 different council directives. And they violated the Quantum Prohibition Act, Sunwoo replied firmly, which takes priority over contact protocols. We need to understand how this happened before we report to the council. 2 days later, their ship landed in an empty field outside a research facility in a region the humans called South Korea. Using the universal translator, they sent a message directly to Dr. Doyeon Kim's communication device. When the scientist arrived, accompanied by security personnel from something called the United Space Command, her reaction was not what they expected. "Visitors from another world," she said calmly, as if she had been expecting them. "I wondered when you would come." Inside her laboratory, Doyeon showed them her work. The quantum drive she had created used principles that Sunwoo recognized, but applied in ways he had never seen before. "We've been monitoring your test flights," Sunwoo explained. "Your technology uses quantum displacement principles that are forbidden by Galactic Council law." Doyeon and the military commander beside her, General Taeyong Park, exchanged glances. "Galactic Council?" Taeyong asked. "Are you saying there's an organized group of alien civilizations?" "We had no idea anyone else existed out there," Doyeon added. "How could we violate laws we didn't know about?" Jiwon looked uncomfortable. "Ignorance of the law is not a defense. The Council prohibits quantum technology because of its destructive potential. One mistake in calibration could tear a hole in space-time." Doyeon walked to a display screen and brought up a series of equations and diagrams. "That's only true if you approach quantum displacement from a particular direction. Our method uses a different approach that eliminates that risk." Sunwoo studied the equations, his professional training allowing him to understand the basics. She was right. The human approach was different, bypassing many of the dangers that had led to the prohibition. "This doesn't change the fact that the technology is forbidden," he said, but with less certainty. General Taeyong stepped forward. "We've spent decades developing this technology. It's the cornerstone of our future in space. We can't simply abandon it because of rules we never agreed to." "The Council won't see it that way," Jiwon warned. "They'll demand you dismantle everything." Doyeon looked directly at the aliens. "Then perhaps we need to convince them that not all quantum technology is dangerous. We've solved problems that your council apparently couldn't." Sunwoo felt torn between his duty as an inspector and his scientific curiosity. The humans had achieved something remarkable, but council law was absolute. "We need to report this," he finally said. "But I'll include everything we've learned. The council will send representatives to evaluate your case." As they prepared to leave, Doyeon handed them a data storage device. "This contains all our research. Study it. Understand what we've done before you judge us." Back in their ship, Sunwoo and Jiwon prepared their report. Both knew that once sent, Earth's peaceful development would end forever. The planet would face the judgment of the Galactic Council, with all the potential consequences that entailed. "Do you think they stand a chance?" Jiwon asked quietly. Sunwoo looked at the blue planet below them. "I don't know. But something tells me we haven't seen the full extent of what humans are capable of." He pressed the transmit button, sending their report across the stars to the Galactic Council headquarters. The fate of Earth now rested in the hands of beings humans had never met, governed by laws they had never known existed. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council glowed with soft blue light. 300 representatives from different worlds sat in rising tiers around a central platform. At the highest point sat High Administrator Jihye, her 6-fingered hands folded neatly on the table before her. "This emergency session will now begin," she announced, her voice carrying through the vast chamber. "We gather today to address a Level 4 civilization violation of the Quantum Prohibition Act." Murmurs spread through the hall. Such violations were extremely rare. Inspector Sunwoo stood on the central platform, feeling small beneath the gaze of so many powerful beings. Beside him, Jiwon appeared equally nervous. "Inspectors, present your findings," Jihye commanded. Sunwoo activated the holographic display showing images of Earth and its quantum ships. He explained their discovery and the meeting with human scientist Doyeon Kim. "The humans claim they developed this technology independently," he concluded. They had no knowledge of the council or its laws. A representative from the Montari Collective rose to speak. Ignorance is no excuse. The law exists to protect the galaxy. Quantum technology led to the destruction of 3 star systems during the Ancient Wars. Many council members nodded in agreement. What do the humans propose? Asked another representative. Jiwan stepped forward. They believe their approach to quantum displacement is fundamentally different and does not carry the same risks as traditional methods. High Administrator Jia's expression remained stern. This claim requires evaluation. However, council law is clear. We must issue the standard ultimatum. She pressed a button on her console, and a formal document appeared before her. The humans will be ordered to dismantle all quantum technology within 1 standard cycle. Failure to comply will result in sanctions. Sunwoo felt a pang of sympathy for the humans. 3 months to abandon their greatest technological achievement seemed harsh, especially when they might be right about their method being safer. The Council will send a delegation to Earth to deliver the ultimatum and oversee compliance, Jihye continued. This session is adjourned. 2 weeks later, 5 massive council ships appeared in Earth's orbit. Unlike Sunwoo's small inspection vessel, these were impossible to hide. Panic spread across the planet as humans realized they were truly not alone in the universe. In a conference room at the United Space Command headquarters, Captain Taeyong Park stood before the council delegation. He had been chosen to represent humanity in this first official contact. Despite the tense situation, he maintained a calm demeanor. The council's position is clear, said the Montari delegate. All quantum technology must be dismantled within 1 cycle. Taeyong looked at the group of aliens with determination. With respect, we request an opportunity to demonstrate that our quantum technology does not pose the dangers you fear. The delegation exchanged glances, clearly not expecting this response. The law does not allow for exceptions, the Montari replied. Then perhaps the law should be reconsidered, Taeyong suggested. Our scientists have developed safeguards that address your concerns. After some discussion, the delegation agreed to allow a demonstration. They followed Taeyong to a large laboratory where engineer Hiran Lee waited with several devices ready. This is our quantum displacement drive, she explained, pointing to a glowing blue engine core, and these instruments will measure its effects on surrounding spacetime. For the next 2 hours, Hiran ran a series of tests. The council delegates watched carefully, recording everything with their own equipment. As you can see, she said, after the final test, our approach creates a stable quantum field. The risk of spatial tears is less than 0.0001%. The delegates looked impressed despite themselves. One of them, a representative from the Toran Alliance, spoke quietly. These results are remarkable. In all my years studying quantum physics, I've never seen such stability. Later that evening, while reviewing the test data in private, Hiran noticed something strange. She called Taeyong to her lab immediately. Look at this, she said, pointing to historical records the council had provided about quantum accidents. The data doesn't match the council's claims. Taeyong leaned closer. What do you mean? According to these records, the 3 star systems destroyed during the Ancient Wars weren't accidents at all. They were deliberate attacks using weaponized quantum technology. She looked up at him, her eyes wide. The council didn't ban quantum drives because they're inherently dangerous. They banned them because they can be modified into powerful weapons. But our design can't be weaponized in the same way, Taeyong realized. We built in physical limiters that prevent the energy from being concentrated enough for weapons. Hiran nodded. Exactly. But I don't think that's going to change their minds. There's something else going on here. The next morning, as Taeyong prepared to meet with the council delegation again, he received an unexpected visitor. The Tauran representative had come alone. I need to speak with you privately, the alien said, looking around nervously. What? I'm about to tell you could get me executed for treason. Taeyong led him to a secure room where they couldn't be overheard. The council's ban on quantum technology isn't just about safety, the Tauran explained. It's about control. The founding races of the council, including High Administrator Jihee's people, can't use quantum technology effectively. Something about their biology makes it impossible for them to maintain the neural patterns needed for precise quantum manipulation. But humans can, Taiyong said, beginning to understand. Yes, your species has a unique neurological structure that makes you naturals at quantum control. If your technology spreads throughout the galaxy, the founding races would lose their technological advantage. The Tauran took a deep breath. And I'm not the only council member who believes this is wrong. Several of us think it's time for a change. Later that day, Taiyong stood before the full delegation again. This time, his approach was different. I understand now why the council fears our technology, he said. But suppressing advancement isn't the answer. We propose a compromise. Earth will share our quantum safety protocols with the council, and in return, we ask for time to prove that our technology can be used safely. The delegates began arguing among themselves. Some seemed open to the idea, while others, particularly the Montari representative, remained firmly opposed. As the debate continued, a message arrived from High Administrator Jihe herself. The room fell silent as her holographic image appeared before them. The council has made its decision, she said firmly. The humans have 1 cycle to comply with the ultimatum. No exceptions, no compromises. Her gaze fixed on Taiyong. Choose wisely, Captain. Your people's future depends on it. After the transmission ended, the room remained quiet. The delegation prepared to leave, but the Tauran representative lingered behind. There are others on the council who disagree with this decision, he whispered to Taiyong. Don't lose hope. Continue your work, but be prepared. Jihe won't let this matter rest easily. As the council ships departed Earth's orbit, Taiyong gathered Earth's leaders to discuss their options. The ultimatum was clear, but so was humanity's. Resolve. We won't give up our technology, he told them. But we need to be ready for what comes next. Across the planet, humans began preparing for a confrontation they had never imagined. The 3-month countdown had begun, and with it, humanity's greatest test was about to unfold. Commander Minsu Park stood on the bridge of the Earth ship Pathfinder, looking out at the stars. 40 days had passed since the Council ultimatum, and time was running short. Earth had less than 50 days remaining to dismantle their quantum technology. Approaching the coordinates, said his navigation officer. The meeting point is just ahead. Minsu nodded. This mission was highly secret. Only 5 people on Earth knew they had left to meet with Council member Yunha, who had contacted them privately with an offer of help. The Pathfinder slowed as a small ship appeared ahead. It had no markings, no identification. Perfect for a secret meeting. They're sending a docking request, said the communications officer. Approved, Minsu replied. Prepare the meeting room. 10 minutes later, Council member Yunha walked onto the Pathfinder. She looked nothing like Minsu expected. Small and delicate, with pale blue skin and large eyes, she seemed too gentle to be involved in galactic politics. Thank you for meeting me, she said. What I am about to share puts me at great risk. In the ship's secure meeting room, Yuna displayed a data crystal. This contains classified council records dating back 3,000 years. The truth about the quantum technology. Ban. Minsu inserted the crystal into the ship's computer. Historical files, technical data, and meeting records filled the screens. As he read through them, his expression grew increasingly shocked. This can't be right, he said. According to these records, the quantum ban was enacted not because of safety concerns, but to prevent technological competition with the founding races. Yunha nodded sadly. The 3 ancient wars were not accidents. They were deliberate suppressions of civilizations that developed quantum technology superior to the founding races. Minsu looked at her with new understanding. And now it's happening again. With us. Yes. But this time is different. Yuna's eyes shone with hope. Many council members like myself believe this cycle of suppression must end. Your people have shown that quantum technology can be safe. This could change everything. Back on Earth, scientist Doyun Kim worked tirelessly in her laboratory. The countdown timer on her wall showed 47 days remaining until the council's deadline. "Try it again," she told her assistant, a non-council alien named Jawan who had defected to help Earth. His species, the Novari, had been denied advanced technology for centuries under council rule. Jawan adjusted the controls on the experimental device. "Power level stable. Neural interface active." Doyen placed her hands on the control panel. The machine hummed softly as blue light flowed around her fingers. On the display screen, a quantum field formed and stabilized. "It works," she said, amazed. The direct neural interface gives perfect control over the quantum field. Jawan checked the readings. "The stability is beyond anything I've seen. This proves our theory." Their theory was revolutionary. Humans possessed a unique neurological pattern that allowed them to intuitively understand and control quantum systems. Where other species needed massive computers to maintain quantum stability, humans could do it directly through neural interfaces. This is why they fear us, Doyen realized. We can do naturally what their most advanced systems struggle to achieve. In another part of the facility, Engineer Hyerin was analyzing the Council's technology database that Yuna had provided. She found something unusual. "Captain Taeyong," she called over the communication system. "I need you to see this immediately." When Taeyong arrived, Hyerin pointed to her screen. "Look at these technical specifications for Council ships. They all use the same propulsion system. It's advanced, but it's also standardized across all their vessels." "What does that mean for us?" Taeyong asked. "It means they've had no significant propulsion advancements in over 500 years. They've stopped innovating." Hyerin pulled up another file. "And look at this. Their weapon systems are equally stagnant. They rely on overwhelming numbers, not technological superiority." Taeyong considered this information. "So if we have to fight, we might have a chance despite their numbers." "Exactly," Hyerin said. "Our quantum drives give us maneuverability they can't match. And I've been working on something else." She brought up designs for a defensive system. Quantum displacement can be used to create partial phase shields. Their weapons might pass right through us. Meanwhile, on the Galactic Council homeworld, High Administrator Jihye was growing increasingly concerned. Reports from her spies indicated that Earth was not dismantling their quantum technology. Instead, they were accelerating development. In her private chamber, she met with her most trusted military commander, General Jin Young. "The humans are defiant," she said. "We cannot allow this to continue." Jin Young bowed his head. "What are your orders, Administrator?" "Prepare the fleet. We will not wait for the deadline. We must eliminate their quantum research facilities before they can develop more dangerous applications. Some council members will object to acting before the deadline," Jin Young warned. Jihye's eyes narrowed. "They need not know until it is done. Assemble your forces quietly. Strike when they least expect it." Unknown to Jihye, Council member Yuna had supporters within the military. One of them, a communications officer, overheard the plans and immediately sent an encrypted message to Yuna. When Commander Minsu's ship returned to Earth, they brought not only the historical evidence but also the warning about the impending attack. Earth's leaders gathered in an emergency session. The situation was dire. The Council fleet would arrive in just 3 days, long before the official deadline. "We are not ready for a direct confrontation," said one general. "We don't have a choice," Taeyong replied. "We either fight or surrender everything we've built." Doyen stepped forward. "Our new neural interface technology is ready. We can deploy it to our fleet immediately. And my phase shield prototypes can be installed on our primary ships," Hyerin added. Minsu looked around the room. "This won't be a fair fight. Their fleet outnumbers ours 10 to 1, but they don't expect us to be prepared. Surprise may be our greatest weapon." As the meeting concluded, Taeyong approached Doyen privately. "Do you think we can win this?" Doyen considered the question carefully. "The Council has ruled the galaxy for thousands of years through technological suppression. No one has successfully challenged them before." She smiled slightly. "But then again, they've never faced humans before." Across Earth, military bases sprang into action. Quantum ships were prepared for battle. Weapons were loaded, emergency plans were enacted. Citizens watched the skies with a mixture of fear and determination. In orbit, Earth's small fleet of 30 quantum-powered ships formed a defensive line. Each vessel had been upgraded with Doyen's neural interfaces and Hyeron's experimental phase shields. Captain Taeyong took command of the flagship Defender. As he settled into the neural interface chair, he felt the ship become an extension of his consciousness. The quantum drive responded to his thoughts directly, giving him control more precise than any computer system could achieve. "All ships report ready," said his communications officer. Taeyong looked at the countdown timer. Less than 6 hours until the Council fleet would arrive. The first space battle in human history was about to begin, and the fate of Earth's technological future hung in the balance. "This is Captain Taeyong to all ships," he said, his voice steady. "Today we fight not just for our technology, but for the right of all species to progress without suppression. Stand firm. Remember your training. We make our stand here." As the minutes ticked by, long-range sensors detected the first signs of the approaching Council fleet. The conspiracy to keep humanity technologically suppressed was about to face its greatest challenge. The darkness of space lit up as 300 Council warships emerged from faster-than-light travel. Their massive hulls gleamed in the light of Earth's sun, stretching in a line that seemed endless. On the bridge of the Council flagship, General Jin-Young looked at the display showing Earth's defenses. Only 30 small ships stood against his fleet. "This will be over quickly," he said to his officers. "Target their orbital stations first, then the ground facilities." The Council ships moved forward in perfect formation, weapons charging. They expected no real resistance from the primitive human vessels. Aboard the Earth flagship Defender, Captain Taeyong felt the neural interface hum as it connected his mind directly to the ship's quantum systems. Around him, his crew watched the approaching armada with tense expressions. "All ships activate phase shields," Taeyong ordered, his thoughts flowing through the neural link to all fleet commanders. "Remember the plan? Stay mobile and unpredictable." The human ships glowed with soft blue light as their quantum phase shields came online. Unlike conventional shields that blocked attacks with energy barriers, these shields partially shifted the ships out of normal space, making them harder to hit. "Enemy fleet in firing range," reported the sensor officer. Taeyong took a deep breath. "Battle positions. Prepare to execute maneuver Hyeron 1. The Council ships fired their first volley. Hundreds of energy beams streaked across space toward the human fleet. General Jin-Young watched with satisfaction, expecting to see the small ships vaporize under the overwhelming barrage. Instead, something impossible happened. The human vessels shimmered slightly and most of the energy beams passed harmlessly through them. "What just happened?" Jin-Young demanded. "Damage report." "Minimal impact, sir," his weapons officer reported, confusion clear in his voice. "Most of our weapons fire. It passed through them somehow." Aboard the Defender, Taeyong allowed himself a small smile. Hyeron's phase shields worked even better than they had hoped. "Now it's our turn," he said. "Execute attack pattern Alpha." The 30 human ships suddenly broke formation, accelerating at speeds the Council vessels couldn't match. Using their neural interfaces, the human captains guided their ships with precision impossible for conventional control systems. The Earth ships darted between the massive Council vessels, firing their weapons at key points identified in Hyeron's analysis. They targeted propulsion systems and weapons arrays with surgical precision. General Jin-Young watched in growing alarm as his neat formation dissolved into chaos. The human ships moved in ways that defied conventional space combat tactics, appearing almost to teleport as their quantum drives allowed them to make micro-jumps across the battlefield. "They're too fast," his tactical officer reported. "Our targeting systems can't lock onto them." Jin-Young slammed his fist on the command console. "How is this possible? They're a level 4 civilization." On Earth, Engineer Hyeron monitored the battle from the Central Command Center. Beside her, Scientist Doyen watched the tactical display with intense focus. "The phase shields are holding at 87% efficiency," Hyeron reported. "Better than we calculated." Doyen nodded. and the neural interfaces are performing perfectly. Our captains are controlling the quantum fields with natural intuition. In orbit, the battle continued to unfold in humanity's favor. Despite being outnumbered 10-1, the Earth fleet's technological advantages were proving decisive. The Council ships, designed for traditional warfare against conventional opponents, simply couldn't adapt to the humans' quantum tactics. 2 hours into the battle, 20 Council ships had been disabled, while only 3 human vessels had taken serious damage. The Earth ships moved like dancers through the enemy formation, striking and then slipping away before the larger vessels could respond. General Jin Yong faced a decision he had never imagined making. The quick victory he had promised High Administrator Shahi was now impossible. "Sir," his second-in-command said hesitantly, "perhaps we should consider a tactical retreat to regroup." Jin Yong's pride rebelled at the suggestion, but his military training recognized the wisdom. "Send a message to the human command. Request a temporary ceasefire for diplomatic discussions." On the Defender, Taeyong received the message with surprise. "They're asking for a ceasefire. It's a trap," his tactical officer warned. "Maybe," Taeyong agreed. "But this is also an opportunity." He opened a channel to Earth Command. "This is Captain Taeyong. The Council fleet is requesting a ceasefire, awaiting instructions." After a brief conference with Earth's leaders, the response came: "Accept the ceasefire, arrange a meeting on neutral ground." 4 hours later, Captain Taeyong stood in a meeting chamber on a neutral station positioned between the 2 fleets. Across from him, General Jin Yong maintained a rigid posture, clearly uncomfortable with the situation. "This ceasefire is only temporary," Jin Yong began. "The Council will not tolerate your continued use of forbidden technology." Taeyong met his gaze steadily. "Yet you attacked us before the deadline you gave us. That suggests the Council is not as committed to its own rules as you claim." Jin Yong had no good response to this. The surprise attack had been ordered specifically to prevent open Council debate about the human situation. "We propose a demonstration," Taeyong continued. "Allow a neutral team of scientists to evaluate our quantum technology. They can verify that our methods are fundamentally different from what the Council banned." "Impossible," Jin Yong replied automatically. "Council law is absolute." "Is it?" Taeyong challenged. "Or is it just a tool to maintain the technological supremacy of certain species?" The general's eyes widened slightly. "Somehow the humans knew more than they should about Council politics. We have evidence of the real reasons behind the quantum ban," Taeyong pressed. "Evidence we're prepared to share with all Council members if necessary." This was a direct threat to the power structure Jin Yong served, and he knew it. If the truth about the quantum ban became widely known, the Council's authority would be severely undermined. After several tense moments, Jin Yong spoke. "I will convey your proposal to High Administrator Jihye." Back on Earth, scientist Doyen prepared for the neutral evaluation team. In her laboratory, she had set up comprehensive demonstrations of human quantum technology. When the team arrived, scientists from non-Council races chosen for their objectivity, they were clearly skeptical. By the end of the first day, however, their attitudes had changed completely. "This is remarkable," said the senior evaluator. "Your approach to quantum displacement is fundamentally different from historical methods. The instabilities that led to the ancient wars are simply not possible with your design." Doyen explained how the human neural interface created perfect quantum field stability. "We don't just use the technology," she told them. "We understand it intuitively, in ways your computers cannot." The evaluation team's report was clear and unequivocal. Human quantum technology did not pose the same risks as the systems banned by the Council. Moreover, the safety measures humans had independently developed actually solved problems that had plagued quantum research for millennia. When the report reached the Council, it created an immediate uproar. High Administrator Jihye attempted to suppress it, but Council member Yunhe ensured it was distributed to all representatives. The battle that had begun in space was now moving to the political arena. Earth had proven itself militarily capable, of defending its technology. Now it needed to win the diplomatic fight as well, as the 6-hour conflict became known throughout the galaxy as the 6-hour war. It marked a turning point. For the first time in 3,000 years, a species had successfully challenged the Council's technological suppression, and they had done it not just with advanced weapons, but with innovation that rendered the old fears obsolete. In his quarters, aboard the Defender, Captain Taeyong reviewed the situation. The ceasefire remained fragile. The Council was divided between those who saw humans as a threat and those who recognized the opportunity they represented. "This isn't over," he told his officers. "But we've changed the equation. We've shown them that humans cannot be easily dismissed." The path ahead remained uncertain, but one thing was clear. Humanity had earned its place among the stars, not by following rules made by others, but by rewriting them entirely. 6 months after the 6-hour war, the Great Hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with activity. Representatives from 300 worlds filled the chamber, but today was different from any session in living memory. For the first time, humans sat among them. Captain Taeyong, now wearing the formal uniform of Earth's ambassador, took his place in the newly created Earth section. Beside him sat scientist Do-Yun and Commander Min-Su, who had become key figures in the ongoing negotiations. "The Special Assembly of the Galactic Council will now begin," announced the session moderator. "Today we address the proposed revisions to the quantum technology regulations." High Administrator Jihye sat at her usual place, but her expression was tight with barely controlled anger. The last 6 months had severely weakened her position. The Neutral Evaluation Team's report on human quantum technology had spread throughout the galaxy, raising uncomfortable questions about the true purpose of the ban. "Before we begin the formal proceedings," said Council Member Yunha, rising from her seat, "I move to address the leadership of this council." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Such a motion was extremely rare. "The motion is recognized," said the moderator. Yunha stepped to the central platform. Her small frame seemed to grow as she addressed the assembly. "For 3,000 years, the Council has claimed that quantum technology was banned for safety reasons," she began. "The events of the past 6 months have proven this claim false. Humans have demonstrated safe, stable quantum systems that do not pose the risks we were told to fear." She activated the central display, showing the evaluation team's complete findings. This deception was maintained not for the good of the galaxy, but to preserve the technological dominance of certain founding species. The chamber erupted in shouts and arguments. Some representatives defended the traditional policies, while others demanded answers. "I therefore move for a vote of no confidence in High Administrator Jihye," Yunha concluded, "and I propose a complete revision of our approach to technological regulation." The vote that followed was close, but the outcome was clear. Jihye was removed from her position by a narrow margin. In her place, Yunha was elected as the new High Administrator. Taking the central position, Yunha wasted no time. "The era of technological suppression is over," she declared. "Today we begin a new approach based on testing and certification rather than blanket prohibitions." Over the next several hours, the Council debated the details of what would become known as the Earth Protocols. Under this new framework, technologies would be evaluated based on their actual risks rather than theoretical dangers. "The Earth Protocols establish a new vision for our galaxy," Yunha explained. "No longer will advancement be stifled by fear. Instead, innovation will be guided by responsible testing and shared knowledge." As the final vote approached, Captain Taeyong addressed the Council. Many representatives who had once viewed humans as primitive upstarts now listened with respect. 6 months ago, Earth stood alone against the Council fleet, he said. "Today we stand together as partners. The quantum technology that was once forbidden will now help build a better future for all species." The Earth Protocols passed with a strong majority. Under the new system, a Quantum Sciences Division would oversee the safe development and sharing of once-banned technologies. Commander Min-Su was appointed as its first director. Back on Earth, Engineer Hyerin watched the proceedings through a live transmission. Her workshop was filled with new projects, including advanced phase shield generators that several non-council races had already requested to study. I never imagined our work would change the galaxy, she told her team. But here we are. Across the room, Jae-hwan, the Novari engineer who had defected to help Earth, was working on a new design. My homeworld has requested permission to develop their own quantum drives, he said. After centuries of technological restriction, we can finally advance. In the months that followed, Earth became the center of a technological renaissance. Species that had been denied advanced technology for generations now came to learn from human scientists. The creation of the Innovation Concordat marked another milestone. This alliance of Earth and 12 formerly suppressed species committed to sharing knowledge freely, with appropriate safety protocols in place. On the Galactic Council, now led by High Administrator Yunha, Captain Taeyong served as Earth's permanent representative. His experience in both military and diplomatic matters made him uniquely qualified to help guide the ongoing reforms. 1 year after the 6-hour war, a special ceremony was held in orbit around Earth. A new vessel, the Unity, prepared for its maiden voyage. Unlike any ship before it, the Unity had been designed and built by a joint team from 20 different worlds. Scientist Doyen stood on the observation deck, watching as the final preparations were made. Beside her, Jae-hwan monitored the ship's systems. "The quantum displacement drive is ready," he reported. "All systems show green." Doyen nodded with satisfaction. "This ship represents everything we fought for, not just human technology, but collaboration across species. The start of something new." The Unity's mission was purely exploratory. It would travel to regions of the galaxy that had been unexplored for thousands of years, mapping new worlds and making contact with isolated civilizations. Commander Min-soo, now director of the Quantum Sciences Division, addressed the assembled dignitaries. 1 year ago, humans faced extinction for developing technology we didn't know was forbidden. Today, that same technology launches a new era of exploration and discovery. High Administrator Yunha, who had traveled from the Council homeworld for the occasion, spoke next. "The Unity represents the best aspects of all our civilizations. It proves that cooperation achieves more than suppression ever could." As the speeches concluded, Captain Taeyong approached Doyen privately. "Did you ever imagine this outcome when you first developed the quantum drive?" he asked. Doyen smiled. "Never. I just wanted humans to reach the stars. I never expected we would change how the galaxy itself operates. Yet here we are," Taeyong said, looking out at the gleaming ship. "The Council tried to force us to give up our technology. Instead, we forced them to change their ways." The Unity's engines glowed with soft blue light as the quantum drive activated. Unlike the old designs that the Council had feared, this new, human-led technology was stable, safe, and powerful beyond anything previously achieved. As the ship departed on its historic journey, a new saying began to spread among Council worlds, one that captured the lesson learned from humanity's defiance. Rules should protect progress, not prevent it. The old galaxy of fear and suppression was giving way to a new era of innovation and exploration. And it had all begun because humans, unaware of ancient prohibitions, had dared to reach for the stars in their own unique way. In the Space War Encyclopedia, the human entry would forever stand as the turning point in galactic history, the moment when one small planet refused to surrender its future and, in doing so, changed the future of all worlds.